Hey everyone, this is Dr. Casey Johnson. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to the Unlock Wellness podcast. I know you're going to love today's episode with Axel. Axel is doing some amazing work, so I'm excited to have him on to share a story with you guys. If you've been loving the Unlock Wellness podcast, be sure to jump onto iTunes, subscribe, and write a review. It really helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate all of the feedback and support. The Unlock Wellness podcast is now on patreon.com. Patreon is an amazing site that allows you to support your favorite podcasts. You can learn more by going to patreon.com/Dr. Casey Johnson. Also, be sure to follow me on social media to keep up with the latest podcast episodes. The best way to connect with me is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. My username across the board is at Dr. Casey Johnson. That's DrKaseyJohnson. You can also check out my website at drcaseyjohnson.com. It has all of the past podcast episodes and more information about each guest under the Listen tab. While you're on my site, be sure to check out the Shop tab where you can check out my first book of my Healthy Children's Book series and learn about the Unlock Wellness Project, which supplies a wellness bag to a child in need for each book purchased. Thank you again for listening. I hope this episode leaves you feeling inspired to start making positive changes to your health. Now it's time for today's episode. I hope you love my conversation with Axel. Welcome to the Unlock Wellness Podcast. I'm Dr. Casey and excited for today's guest. I'm here with Axel, and Axel is a vegan athlete and is just doing so much positive work in the plant-based community. So I'm excited to have him on to share a story. But Axel, thank you so much for taking time to come on. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Casey.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going to have you pronounce your last name because you told me that it's even hard for you to pronounce. So
yeah.
I'm not going to jump on here and butcher it. Yeah, so go ahead and give him your last name.
Okay, it's Schurawlow. My parents are originally from Russia. And yeah, even for me, I have to explain it over and over again, especially I'm originally from Germany. I was born and raised in Germany, and everyone gets confused.
Yeah, no, if it's difficult for you, it's going to be a rough one for me. So no, but I'm excited to have you, Axel. You're doing some awesome work. And, before we get into everything you're working on, why don't you start with your backstory, where you're living right now, and obviously what's your also what your health and wellness look like as a kid growing up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, as I told you, my parents are from Russia. They came from Uzbekistan to Germany to live here, to have a better life. So I was born and raised in Germany. I had if I talk about veganism and stuff, I don't know if you know the Russian culture, but
I don't know it at all.
Yeah, they eat a lot of animal products and meat. Every single meal is actually just with meat. So I grew up with a lot of Russian influence, but I was always into sports. My father was a really successful athlete. So it's playing soccer for everything that I wanted to do. And then I got into bodybuilding, and I was, we call it in Germany, bro science kind of bodybuilder, eating a lot of rice and chicken. Mm-hmm. And at some point, a guy called Misha, he's really, he's an influencer, and he tried the plant-based diet out. He was it was 4 years ago, I think. And I think he's the world champion in natural bodybuilding. And I saw that he's a vegan now. And I was wow. I thought only I had so many stereotypes about vegans. And I always thought they're skinny guys and things of that nature. But then I saw he's doing it. He did a 30 days challenge. And after that, he stayed vegan. I was okay, no, I have to educate myself. I did it. It took 2 weeks till I got the idea. And from then, I think it was 4 years ago, almost 4 years. And then I was vegan, and I will not change again. That's kind of my story. Besides being an athlete, I'm a personal coach. like everything in my life has to do with sports, nutrition, and veganism. That's actually my life.
I love it. And you're doing an amazing job at just, putting that out there on social media, and you're helping a lot of people. Was it hard for you to, like, whenever you saw that guy was doing, like, that he was vegan and getting really awesome results as a bodybuilder, and like, was that enough for you? Because that you did grow up in a very heavy meat culture. So was that a hard transition as far as like in your mind being like, okay, it's okay if I don't eat meat? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It was easy after I educated myself. First, I was like, it's impossible. I ate like meat every single day, every day. But I was already 18 and I didn't really care anymore what my parents are saying, because they also like they eat really unhealthy. It was obvious to me. I always like ate a lot of fruits and whole grains and vegetables. I know that's good for you. So I didn't care that much. So it wasn't that difficult anymore. I think if I would be like 15 or 16, it would be way much harder.
Gotcha. So you didn't have like that attachment to it. Like, it wasn't like you didn't like fight it. Because I think a lot of people, they get to a point where they don't 100%. Want to be open-minded at all. And it's when you're in that place, to even want to educate yourself would be a struggle.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah. Still everyone in my family is making fun of me, but
I think that's normal though. It's just part of the process. Just, it's the more consistent you can be with it, the more they'll take you seriously with it. I think that's with anybody that makes that switch. So they've accepted it for you. You said it's been 4 years though. So they've kind of accepted that's where you're at with it.
True. Yeah, and actually that's not my whole family. Like, my brother went vegan, my sister, and they were also like huge meat eaters, and I'm really happy about that.
Well, what were some of the like immediate and I guess kind of long-term effects that you've noticed for yourself? Because you grew up a very active person, so I mean, you were probably relatively in shape basically your whole life, right? So did you notice things happening right away, like positive results happening once 100%. You made that switch?
I always felt tired after eating like a lot of animal protein, but I thought it would be it's normal. I didn't,
Right.
And then I made the change and was okay, I don't feel tired anymore during the day. What's happening here? And then I was sure, okay, I get it, why so many athletes go vegan, because your recovery is so much better, your sleep is so much better. I was like, okay, that's win-win. So definitely, faster recovery time for me. I think every athlete should go vegan just because of the recovery time. Like, it's just the best. I think the recovery time is the best thing, definitely. And my health, I haven't been sick for, I think, 4 years now. Since I'm vegan, I haven't been sick.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah, it's just your body's working so much harder for you when you're putting the right things in, and it's really amazing to hear the results like that. No, I love that.
And it's so difficult to describe, because it's like if like people hear it and they don't know how it is like without the animal protein.
Yeah,
it's like it's trying to describe how a rose smells. You
just don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, no. So whenever you made that, that transition for yourself, you said that you were already 18. So I mean, you made that decision. How did that decision start to impact other things in your life? Because I mean, you do use, the plant-based lifestyle as kind of a that platform as a career. So, I mean, how has that really impacted what you're doing just with your entire life long term?
Yeah. So first of all, I had to break up with my girlfriend. No, it was a process, but I changed dramatically. I started caring about the environment and animal rights. And she educated herself, but she just said, okay, I'm aware of that, but I don't want to change. I said, okay. It didn't work for me. So I broke up. And then I started realizing that's like spreading the message, helping other people, getting in shape with a plant-based diet is just win-win for me, because I really started caring about the environment, and I love to help people. So if I help people like if I show them the vegan lifestyle and how good it is for your body, I'm also doing something good for the environment and for animals. So for me, it was like, okay, that's win-win. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life, or at least for the next, I don't know, 10, 15 years. That was like, a huge moment for me.
That's awesome. So what were kind of the first steps that you took with it once you realized that it was something that you wanted to pursue?
I started reading a lot about, I thought I knew a lot. I was already a personal trainer, but obviously I didn't knew everything. So I didn't know everything. So I started educating myself even more, reading even more. And the first thing that I had to do is to figure out what's difficult for a vegan. Like if you go vegan, what is difficult about it? How can I help people? And it was funny because I was vegan for like, I don't know, 3 months, and I already coached people how to get vegan. And it was so funny because I actually did it myself. So I know how it feels if you have to change, like if you don't drink cow's milk anymore.
Right.
So that was actually pretty good that I know that I actually experienced it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And then there's obviously so many other things that you have to be prepared for that you could really help people with, right? Because it's not just what foods do I eat. It's like, how do I answer certain questions? Because people will ask questions, and a lot of the times people ask questions, it's not in a negative way. They just want to know because we wanted to know at one point too, right? And then obviously you will have people that kind of try to debate you in random places.
Yeah, they judge you.
Right.
Yeah, your friends.
You'll have that.
Maybe your girlfriend.
Maybe. So, yeah. So, you have to kind of be prepared for that as well. And not to come from a place of like negativity, but just having the answers so you can portray it in a loving way. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So like whenever you decided that you were going to use it as like a career for you, or like what you're doing right now, was YouTube where you started as far as just trying to put the message out there?
I think I started on Instagram, just posting pictures about that. Like for me, everyone in my people who surround me, there was not even one vegan, I think. Yeah, no vegan at all. Like they didn't even know what it is. So they were like, okay, Axel, are you all right? And then I started posting pictures on Instagram, starting doing YouTube videos. I have my own podcast. And it's right now it's not difficult anymore. In the beginning, it was like, okay, people are judging me. They judged me a lot. But now and more people go vegan. So it's easier and easier. It gets really like easy. I think you know that if you put something out, especially something about like changing habits, changing also traditions, especially for me as a Russian guy. People will judge you, people will talk shit. And I think if you do what we are doing, you have to handle that. You have to have this kind of tummy.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm happy that I have it now.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So you are really big into travel, and obviously, with what you're doing and with the travel, that plays a huge part on, every aspect of your life. It's also like self-development, mindset development. So when did the travel aspect of what you're doing come into play?
After going vegan, to be honest, it's difficult. It was just such a crazy change for me that I said, okay, I want to take time off and go to Asia to actually figure out what I want to do. So I went vegan, and then I was like, okay, I have to figure out how can I do that? How can I make money with that? That sounds so stupid, but I think I wasn't really sure what I want to do. Like I knew the topic. I know like personal training, things of that nature, but how do I survive? And I was a broker before. So it was big change for me. I sold everything and went, bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, and took a time off and figured it out. And then I was like, okay, I love Asia. I love the food. I love the people. Especially the food is a huge part for me. Everything is organic and it's so easy for a vegan here. And I love the sun, to be honest.
No, your pictures are beautiful. What made you want to go to Thailand?
it was always, I don't know, Germans, they always go to Thailand, and I was like, okay, everyone is going to Thailand, so I'm just going to try it out. I'm going to start there. After Thailand, I went to Indonesia. I fell in love with Indonesia, especially I was a new vegan, and they have so many vegan opportunities here. It's crazy. I think they have even more vegan restaurants than non-vegan restaurants.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm right here at the moment.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you did that, and then obviously you're getting ready to move again, right? Is that what you were saying before we started?
Yeah. I have to leave right now. I'm in Bali, and I have to leave Bali in I think 2 days. Going to Malaysia because my visa expires, and I heard they have a huge vegan community in Kuala Lumpur, and I just started modeling, so some business opportunities there as well.
No, I love that. What have you learned as far as like, what do you think has been your own biggest takeaways just through the traveling that you've done? Obviously, you're putting yourself in different, probably sometimes uncomfortable situations because it is new cultures, and like you have to meet new people. And like, what do you think you've learned the most about yourself just from the traveling aspect?
I think that everything is perspective. I went to India, and I saw people they actually don't have enough food, but they're still smiling. And I was like, yeah. We live in, like, people in Germany, a lot of them are complaining, and like life is so difficult. And even some people say they're poor. And then you have people in India, or like in general in Asia, like I went to Cambodia as well. They actually have problems, like real problems, and they don't complain. So I was like, okay, Axel, you will never ever complain again about like having too much stress. You're good. Like you have enough food. It sounds kind of romantic, but it's actually true. You're healthy. You have enough food. You have enough water. You don't have to worry about that. So that was the biggest takeaway, like gratitude and realizing that everything is perspective. Like if you are living in Europe or in the Western world and you think that your life is difficult, I think you have the wrong perspective.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. And even being like in the States, you know, it's, I mean, people complain about everything, and obviously, you know, nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to complain about stuff, right? But whenever you can actually see places that have real problems, like you were saying, it's perspective. I love that. That's amazing. And what's probably your favorite type of vegan food that you've been able to have where you are right now? Because you said there's so many options.
I think tempeh. You know tempeh?
Yeah.
Of course you do. Yeah. I almost eat it every day.
Do you like it cooked a certain way?
I like it without any spices. Yeah. Because usually the food is really spicy here. Like if you go to your local restaurants. So I just love tempeh. It doesn't have just tempeh.
Gotcha.
Clean.
It gives you a break from all the spices.
True.
Yeah. So like whenever, what made you want to start both your YouTube channel and your podcast? Because I know that you do both, and you started with Instagram. So when did you start to really try to put out more videos, try to put out more audio?
It was a process. Like in the beginning, I struggled a lot with like the judgment, and I didn't know. Right? Yeah, it's really tough. Like people it's just a YouTube video, just a podcast. No, like you're putting stuff out there, and if you, I don't know, if your video has like 500 views, just imagine like 500 people in front of you, and you are talking to them. Right. That's crazy.
It is. And you have to be like prepared with like, you're going to help a lot of people, but obviously whoever puts out content, like you're not meant for every person, right? So not every review is going to be perfect, and you have to be ready for that as well.
True. Yeah. So I started with that. I didn't know what do I want to do. I want to do everything, but what's my strength? So I tried everything, like podcast, YouTube, and Instagram. I figured out that I don't like blogs. I mean, I'm not good at it. I'm just not good at it. So I decided that video blogging and like Instagram pictures, that's actually fun for me. So I'm going to go all in doing this. And it is fun, even if it's tough sometimes. But it's fun.
Yeah. So for people that do want to check out your YouTube channel, like what kind of content do you like to post on your YouTube channel?
Well, right now it's a lot of vlogs about I'm traveling, so I'm vlogging 100%, so many beautiful places. But I'm also like always trying to. It's always vegan lifestyle because I'm just eating a lot
right.
and showing all the great restaurants, food. But also always trying to give some value about, giving some information about my diet, or like the diet in general, answering questions. Just like I'm doing this, not because I like to see myself on the computer, but because I want to help people. And I was trying to figure out, what's the problems of vegans, like what are they struggling with? And I'm trying to, not only trying, I'm answering this on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram.
No, that's awesome. And it's super rewarding, right? Whenever you can help people make that change. So, have you had any like just really awesome either success stories or maybe somebody that you've helped that it's just clicked for them? And I mean, obviously that feels amazing when that happens, but have you had a lot of cases like that?
100%. Yeah, a lot actually. That's what gives me energy. I have so many screenshots and like, sometimes it gets tough, or like if I'm doubting myself, I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, Axel, that's why you do it. And then after that, I'm okay, keep going. So 100%.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's just, it's cool when you can form like an online community that maybe somebody who is in an area where that's not really being pushed a lot, like that can help them learn more and get that education like you had to get for yourself. And it's just, it's just an amazing, YouTube's an amazing resource, and so is Instagram. It's just really cool to have that community and that information at your fingertips at all times.
Yeah, 100%. And also, like, I think more than 40% of my followers are not vegan.
Yeah.
And they're like watching my stuff. I'm like, okay, so I'm having an influence on them. It's a start, like eating more fruits. That's already pretty good. Realizing that milk is not good for you. I just love it.
You're planting a seed, and that's the same thing with like this podcast. Like there's a large percent of people who listen who aren't vegan, and that's cool. I mean, I respect everybody wherever they're at in their journey, but it's it's cool because it does plant that seed. It all starts somewhere, right?
100%. And that's what I like about you, the way that you don't judge people as well, right?
No,
for not being vegan. I think I see that a lot, like vegans who are judging other people, who are like, you're a bad person. For me, like personally, I decided I'm not going to judge them. I get the idea. Like if you see all this stuff and the impact of animal products on your own health, the environment, like let's don't talk about animal rights because it's even more crazy. You feel kind of angry and you try to convince people, but I think that's the wrong way. I mean, we all ate meat at some point, right? I did it for almost 20 years. So who am I to judge you? I think we just have to be we have to be empathetic and just giving information, because otherwise it's just like, okay, this judgy vegan, I'm not going to listen to him.
Right. Because I wouldn't want somebody approaching me in an angry way. That would set back the whole process for me personally. Yeah. But I get that maybe that does help some people because they need that like rude awakening. But I would say for the majority, that's not the case. But so that's how I like to approach it as well, and just plant seeds when I can and live by example. And that's exactly what you're doing, which is why I respect your work so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you, like I said, you are doing a lot more videos. You were talking about a documentary you're actually working on. So tell me about that, because that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting, and that's also like a reason why I'm here at the moment. I'm working a lot, but I can decide on my own where I want to work. So I'm preparing my own documentary. It's almost like I'm working with the biggest TV company in Austria, which is for me personally super great. It's about climate refugees and the vegan diet as a solution for like climate change. So it's a lot about climate change. Yeah, I can't talk too much about it. Like, obviously, it's
Okay.
I'm not allowed to. But yeah, it was for me personally. I love legacy. I want in 20 or 30 years, if I have kids, and they're probably gonna be vegan, and they're gonna ask me, okay, Pop, what did you do? What was your what did you do for us that we have a better life? And I see a lot of bad things, and I want to change them. I just I'm not into complaining a lot. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm not a filmmaker, but I said I'm gonna find people. I'm gonna find a way. I truly believe everything is figure outable. So I asked a lot of people. It was a hustle, but yeah, now I'm getting there, and super excited. I think we're gonna start filming in November or December.
That's amazing. I'm excited for it. That's gonna be really great. When so you start filming in November or December, do you have any idea? I mean, you probably just have to kind of wait till you get it going though, right? Because it's so new as far as like timeline.
Yeah, exactly. We are just waiting for the go. Could also be in January, but yeah, as soon as we get a go, we're gonna go to Bangladesh. That's what I.
Gotcha. That's cool. So it's gonna be more environmentally focused.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that was a big part of your journey, right? Is just learning how it affects the environment, and obviously the changes that going plant-based, the positive changes that going plant-based can have on the environment are incredible. What were some of the biggest things that just blew your mind about what was happening with our environment and how we could help by just changing the food that's on our plate?
Mm-hmm. I watched Cowspiracy, and after that I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was a huge one for me too.
Yeah, just because I said this, I got goosebumps. Because I always thought like all these cars and planes, they have the biggest impact on climate change. Right. And then I was like, okay, I can make it. I have such a huge impact just by changing my diet. Come on, that's crazy. And just by realizing that we have a lot of like troubles, like our oceans. That was a huge part for me. But also, the fact that that we have climate refugees at the moment. And nobody cares. Not nobody cares, but nobody sees it, and that's also why I'm doing the documentary. But then I was like, okay, just my diet. I'm just changing my diet and actually helping people. Right. That was huge for me. Yeah.
It's just the more we can create the awareness, the more people can learn and take action. Because even with like Cowspiracy, right? They go into obviously people think environmental change is caused mainly by like cars and things like that. Yeah. But then they bring out all this research showing that it's really from, animal agriculture, and goes into all of that. And there's even research studies out there, but it's not pushed to the general public when it's like leaps and bounds above cars and whatever. Yeah. So it's just not being pushed because, I mean, just a lot of different ways. You guys can go watch that documentary. It's really, it's very, very eye-opening. And if you watch it, shoot me a message and let me know you watched it, and it will make me really happy because it's just amazing.
100%.
Yeah. No, but that's exciting. Yeah, definitely keep me posted with the progress of the documentary, and obviously as stuff starts to come out, like let me know, and I can promote like crazy on my end as well.
That's good. Thanks. I'm definitely gonna vlog the process.
Awesome.
So I have my cameraman, but I'm actually allowed to vlog during that. It will be really, really interesting.
That will be a movie within a movie, right?
True.
Yeah. No, that's really awesome, Axel. And yes, I mean, I know you mentioned a bunch of stuff that you are working on, but is there like anything in the future that you're working on that you just want to put out there and share, or just continue to put out a lot of content, work on your vlogs, your audio, the documentary? Is there anything else that you want to just put out there and share?
Yeah, 100%. I want to help as many people as possible, and I only have 24 hours, so I can't coach. Like, there is a limit, you know what I mean? You can't scale it to a certain level. So I'm definitely gonna work on a program. I haven't like finished something, but I'm working on it. My goal is just to help as many people as possible, vegans usually, or like people who want to go vegan. yeah, that will definitely be a goal for the next 12 months.
Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, guys, definitely be sure to go follow him on social media. That way you can keep up with his vlogs everywhere that he's traveling, all the amazing vegan food that he's eating, and obviously keep up with the documentary as he starts vlogging that as well. But yeah, so Axel, what is the best way for people to follow you on social media and on YouTube? That way they can keep up with everything that you're doing.
Yeah, the easiest place is Instagram. Just yeah, I would say put the link in the description.
It has your last name. Yeah.
Yeah, there is the link tree to all like my podcast, YouTube channel, things of the nature.
Perfect.
So
awesome.
Come say hello.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll put all of those in the show notes. That way people can just click and add you. And awesome. Yeah, and we forgot to talk about your podcast though. So what kind of stuff can people find whenever they check out your podcast?
It's mainly about mental health at the moment. I'm also talking about dieting. Yeah, but I'm really into mental health. I just think that you can't separately your mind and your body. So I'm talking about mental health and diets on my podcast, mainly about mental health, but also about foods and how it affects your mental health. Actually, I'm actually starting at the moment a vegan podcast with like vegan topics in English. I mean, it's like obviously I'm not a native speaker. It's actually my fourth language, and it's my first interview in English. So I'm really happy that I have you. Yeah, because you're English. Like sometimes if I talk to people from, I don't know, Scotland, it's sometimes really difficult for me to understand the accent.
Gotcha.
So I'm really happy. I'm really happy. But anyways, what was the question?
What people can find on your podcast?
Yeah, just like mental health, but also like things about diet and how you can improve. Actually, everything what I'm talking about is about health. Like how can you be healthier? How can you live a better life? That's what my content is about.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, no, definitely mental health and your physical health go hand in hand. Like, how is your mental health developed as you've grown? Obviously, as you've grown physically and like nutritionally. Like, how has your mental health progressed over time as well?
I started meditating after going vegan, and like I started listening to the Ritual podcast.
Rich is the best.
Podcast, and it was like, okay, meditation works. Trying meditation. I'm meditating every day since 3 years. So I think people underestimate mental health a lot. Like everyone is talking about the body and how you can lose body fat, but I think way much. That's why I talk about mental health. Like things that you don't learn at school, right? That's the reason.
Yeah, no, it is very important because I mean, you can lose a bunch of weight, but if you're not in a good place mentally, you're not getting the positive effects from it, really, and it's probably not going to be sustainable. But if you're in a good state and you start to eat right, like you actually have clarity, you actually want to make it a long-term thing and not just something that you do for a few weeks to look good at the beach, right? It's all a long game, and I think that's really amazing. No, that's I love that. I think that's awesome, Axel. And so no, I will put all of your links in the show notes. That way people can add. And your first English interview was great. You've done really, really well.
Thanks.
No, that's awesome. And so Axel, just a closing question that I ask every guest. But if you just had one piece of advice for the audience, maybe it's been something that's been, your biggest takeaway through your wellness journey so far. But if you just had one piece of advice to give, what would it be? Really simple. Go vegan. Straight to the point, right? Yeah. Go vegan. Try it out. That was the best decision of my life. So go vegan. Just go vegan. I love it. Or try it at least out. I mean, try it and then judge. Exactly. Because if you don't like it, just switch back, right? Yeah. I never met someone who tried it and didn't continue. Exactly. Yeah, that's actually, so try it out. Awesome. I love it. No, that's perfect, Axel. And just Again, thank you so much for taking time to come on. I loved having you and just excited to see all of the work that you do. So thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you loved my conversation with Axel. He's doing so much positive work, so be sure to give him a follow on social media to keep up with everything that he's been working on. You can find his social media links that we talked about in the episode in the show notes, but you can also find them on my website as well at drkaseyjohnson.com. That's drkaseyjohnson.com. Click on the Listen tab. Then from there, you'll be able to see all of the past guests that have come on the Unlock Wellness podcast, read a little bit about each guest, and be able to click on their social media links, websites, all of that. So all of Axel's information can be found on my site as well. If you guys loved today's episode with Axel, be sure to jump onto iTunes, subscribe, and write a review. It really helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate all of the feedback and support. Also, be sure to check out patreon.com/Dr. Casey Johnson to learn more about how you can support the Unlock Wellness podcast. Thank you guys so much again for tuning into today's episode. I hope you loved it. I hope it inspires you. And most importantly, I hope you take action.